Hey everybody, welcome to Thomas and Friends in 5, Episode 3, featuring Gordon. We got a lot to cover. We're already going to be over by about a minute and a half, so let's get right into it. Gordon is one of the first 3 characters to appear in the Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends universe. Gordon is one of the anthropomorphic locomotive characters in the Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends universe. Anthropomorphic refers to non-human things like objects or animals that have human characteristics. As we mentioned earlier, Gordon is one of the first 3 Thomas and Friends characters to appear in the Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends universe. He appeared in the first of the original The Railway series books titled 3 Railway Engines, written by Wilbert Awdry and published in May 1945. And in case you're wondering who the other 2 railway engines are in that first book, they're Edward and Henry. Gordon runs on the North Western Railway, or NWR for short. His livery is the NWR cerulean blue with red pinstriping or lining, and a yellow number 4 also outlined in that red pinstriping. Although in one publication, Gordon appeared in the NWR's secondary livery of green with red striping and a yellow number 4. Gordon's also referred to as Gordon the Big Express Engine or Gordon the Big Blue Engine. Gordon's job on the NWR is almost exclusively hauling express passenger coaches. Gordon is a 462 tendered steam locomotive, which means he's fueled by coal and water stored in a separate piece of rolling stock pulled behind the locomotive called a tender. The numbers 462 refer to the White notation, which is a wheel arrangement classification system for steam locomotives and some non-steam locomotives. In Gordon's case, he has 4 unpowered leading wheels, 6 drive wheels, and 2 unpowered trailing wheels, hence 462. Those unpowered leading wheels are also referred to as pilot wheels or leading axles. The tender wheels don't count when it comes to the White notation, just the locomotive wheels. Steam locomotives with a 462 wheel configuration, like Gordon, are also known as Pacifics. It's not 100% certain where the name Pacific originated in this context, but the leading explanation is that Baldwin, the American Steam Locomotive Company, shipped 13 NZR, or New Zealand Railroad, Q-Class 462 locomotives across the Pacific Ocean to New Zealand, hence the nickname Pacific. And in case you're wondering, the 442 wheel arrangement was known as the Atlantic type. Personality-wise, Gordon is described as being egotistical, arrogant, and a bit boastful. But we look at it more as prideful. He is, after all, responsible for pulling the most important express coaches, and there's a lot of prestige that comes with that responsibility. Like all the locomotives and rolling stock in the Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends universe, Gordon is based on a real locomotive. He's based on the London and Northeastern Railway, or LNER for short, Gressley Class A1. Gressley refers to Nigel Gressley, one of the most famous steam locomotive engineers and designers of his day. There were 52 A1s built at the Doncaster Works, simply known as the plant, from 1922 to 1935. Now, the Class A1 is often mentioned alongside the Class A3. That's because 51 of the 52 A1s were rebuilt as A3s. The A3s included a few improvements over the A1s, including a higher pressure boiler and an increased superheating surface among some of the other improvements. Rebuilding the Class A1s as Class A3s actually happened over a long period of time, from 1928 to 1949. As we previously mentioned, 51 of the 52 A1s were rebuilt as A3s. That remaining A1 was rebuilt as the Thomson A11, or A1/1. The A1s, now rebuilt as A3s, were all withdrawn from service between 1959 and 1966. All was scrapped except for one. The A3 with the number 4472, better known as the Flying Scotsman, has been preserved and is owned by the National Rail Museum in the UK and is still operational. As far as the fate of the A3s go, well, they were a victim of the diesel revolution, and they were eventually replaced by the British Rail Class 55 or Deltic diesel locomotive. While the literature doesn't come out and say it directly, though we can find anyways, Gordon is probably the most powerful engine working the Northwestern Railway on Sodor. More than likely, he edges out Henry, the other notable large steam locomotive most comparable to Gordon, for the top spot as the most powerful engine on the NWR. There are a couple of other locomotives in the Thomas and Friends universe that could give Gordon a run for his money if they worked for the NWR. One example would be the Streamline Spencer, who is also a Gressley 462 Pacific type, same as Gordon. However, Spencer is an A4 as opposed to an A1, and he's primarily built for speed, but he may be every bit as powerful as Gordon. He's also privately owned, so he can't compete directly with Gordon for the title of most powerful on the NWR. And there are also very powerful peripheral characters in the Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends universe like Sam. Sam is an enormous locomotive based in the United States working the Virginian Railway. So how did we do? Did we get everything right? Is Gordon the most powerful locomotive on Sodor? Is he egotistical, boastful, and arrogant, or is he just prideful that he's a powerful locomotive entrusted with the responsibility of hauling the express passenger coaches? Are there any important facts we missed or got wrong? Leave a comment below. Okay, that's going to be it for this video. We hope this served as a good introduction to Gordon from the Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends universe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next installment of Thomas and Friends in 5.